Ryan, good to see you today. We are tackling the age old question: should I pay off my mortgage early or invest? Let's say someone has a pile of cash sitting in the bank right now. Perhaps they're invested in a money market fund earning 5%. Let's talk through whether those safe returns have changed the conventional wisdom when it comes to paying down your mortgage early. So, you say before you pay off your mortgage, you first need to consider whether you need the liquidity.
Definitely. It's very important because, a good example is, let's say you have $100,000 sitting in your savings account and you've got maybe you only have $40,000 left on your mortgage. Well, you might want to take that $40,000 of your 100,000 in savings and just pay off the mortgage and be done with it. If having still $60,000 in your savings account provides you with enough liquidity. On the other hand, let's say you have $100,000 left on your mortgage and you only have 100,000 in your savings, and you're going to take all of that and pay off the mortgage. Well, now you don't have a mortgage payment, but now you may not have that liquidity that you need when you need it. So you have to, think through these different things for sure.
Absolutely. Next, you have to consider how those returns compare. Compare the ROI of a mortgage pay down versus investing in the market. And the return on your debt pay down is pretty straightforward. It's going to be whatever your mortgage rate is. But Ryan, I'm wondering how that calculation compares depending on whether you have an 8% mortgage like now or maybe a 3% mortgage.
Yeah, it definitely changes the ball game. Over the last
Yeah.
few years, we've seen interest rates go up quite a bit. And what's interesting is that many people have locked in on these 30-year mortgages at 3% or less in interest. Well, if you're now getting, 4 or 5% on a money market or a CD, I mean, that's, safe money. So if you have that and your mortgage rate is, let's call it 3%, does it really make sense from a mathematical perspective to pay that off? No, probably not. But like I was talking about earlier in that example, if you've got a mortgage that is maybe a smaller amount and you just want to be done with it, and it gives you that psychological comfort that you feel good, you've got the home paid for, and you'll still have the liquidity that you need, well, then it could maybe make some sense to go ahead and do that.
hmm And next, of course, you need to factor in your life stage. In other words, how long is your time horizon?
Yeah, so for sure, like if you're younger, you might be invested more aggressively. And over time, hopefully you'll earn rates of returns of perhaps 6, 8, 10%, something like this. And again, if you've locked in at a mortgage, especially a few years ago, at like those 3% rates, that really makes the argument strong to say it doesn't make a whole lot of sense perhaps to pay off that mortgage.
hmm
If you've gotten now a mortgage that's a little bit higher, 4, 5, 6, 7%, the higher that interest rate is, the more it's going to make sense to consider maybe paying that off or paying that down, faster than you had planned to otherwise.
hmm
It depends upon your age, it depends upon your situation right now, when you're planning to retire. All of these different things are important in making this
hmm
decision.
And you've touched on this already, but it's so important. You need to ask yourself if paying off your mortgage will bring peace of mind. The spreadsheet may say one thing, and our heart may say something else.
Yeah, I always say, financial planning is, it's one part numbers, it's the objective part that's so important. But there's also feelings involved and how you feel about making certain types of financial decisions. And as long as you're not going, far off the rails with different decisions based upon that, then it can make sense to, go ahead and pay that down faster or just pay that off. Kind of like my example that I gave earlier. You have $100,000 in savings, you have $40,000 left in your mortgage. Hey, you want to pay it down, you'll still have enough liquidity. It brings you that peace of mind. Why not? Go ahead and do it.
hmm Well, Ryan, if somebody would like to crunch the numbers with you and have a conversation with you, because clearly there is no cookie cutter answer to this question, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure. So can call 714-462-9155, or you can go to the website, which is kravitzfinancial.com. Go to the contact page there, submit a message, and I'll get back to you.
Great. Ryan, thank you.
Thank you.